In December 1926, the same news appeared in all British newspapers. Agatha Christie had disappeared for 11 days. She had no recollection of his disappearance after being found. However, allegedly, the following note was found among her documents after her death. "The keys to the secret of my disappearance are in my room at the Istanbul Pera Palace Hotel." Agatha Christie was one of the most important names in detective literature. She lost her father at a young age, and was raised by her mother. Agatha had a lonely childhood. She started writing short stories at a young age and went to Paris to study singing at the age of 16, but returned to England after a while. In 1914 she married pilot Colonel Archibald Christie and went back to France. Despite her dyslexia, Agatha enjoyed reading stories and novels. Believing she could write better detective stories than she had read while spending time in France, she wrote her first crime novel, The Mysterious Affair in Styles. This novel was the first to feature Belgian detective Hercule Poirot, the fictional character created by Agatha Christie. In the following years, Agatha Christie would become one of the most important names in detective literature. The year is December 14, 1926. Agatha Christie has been missing for 11 days. Archibald Christie and Agatha's marriage was not going well. Archibald Christie had fallen in love with another woman, and that woman was his future wife, Nancy Neely. He had been saying for a long time that he liked another woman, and wanted to break up with Agatha, but Agatha wouldn't admit it.
"I want a divorce. Will you give me one?"
No, I won't.
On December 3, 1926, the subject was brought up again and a big fight broke out in the house. First, Archibald left the house in anger, followed by Agatha, taking a few things with her, got into her car and drove away. The next day, on December 4, 1926, her car was found abandoned on the side of the road leading to a chalk quarry. Agatha Christie has been found missing. The items in her suitcase were scattered on the floor. She had a few items in the car, like her coat and driver's license. Upon this situation, the surroundings of the lake were meticulously searched by many volunteers and a few planes. The famous author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, known for his Sherlock Holmes novels, also participated in the work to find the missing author's location. Sir Arthur, who created the character with a magnificent intelligence like Sherlock Holmes, tried mystical ways for this event and made a deal with a psychic. He handed Christie's gloves to the psychic, asking to tell him where the author was. Christie was identified 11 days later by a woman who worked at a hotel in Yorkshire. She was dazedly walking around in a thin dress despite the cold weather. She even registered at the hotel where she was staying under the name Mrs. Teresa Neely.
Teresa Neal.
Yes, you heard right, she had registered the hotel using the surname of her husband's lover. When asked about the 11 days she disappeared, she could not give a clear explanation. She simply said that she did not remember. Although she showed signs of severe amnesia, some thought it was a scenario that looks like an accident, that Christie was faked it. According to some, Agatha Christie did indeed suffer from temporary amnesia. According to another claim, she made plans to kill her husband's lover. Despite the rumors, there was only one truth: Agatha was back. So, how did this incident have to do with Istanbul? There are various opinions on this. It was known that the famous writer Agatha Christie wrote the novel Murder on the Orient Express in Pera Palace Hotel, where she stayed in 1924 and 1933. She stayed for a while in Istanbul, where she came by train, and wrote most of her novel in room 411. On January 12, 1976, the great writer Agatha Christie passed away. A mysterious note allegedly found among her papers after her death was quite interesting. The note read, "The keys to the secret of my disappearance are in my room at Istanbul Pera Palace." Although this note is not known by everyone, it spread like an urban legend from ear to ear, even reaching as far as America. In 1979, Warner Brothers made a movie about the 11 days of Agatha Christie's disappearance. Vanessa Redgrave played Agatha, while Dustin Hoffman played an American reporter who followed her. The movie was released on February 9, 1979.
Agatha.
Although it is not known whether it is for this movie or a sequel, Warner Brothers executives were wondering about the connection between Agatha Christie and the Istanbul Pera Palace Hotel. No matter how hard the executives tried, they couldn't find the necessary information, and sought the help of Tamara Rend, the famous psychic in Los Angeles. A spiritual session was held in the presence of company representatives, press, television, and Agatha Christie's heirs. At the end of the session, the psychic Rend claimed that she had contacted Agatha's spirit and made the following claims. The key that will shed light on Agatha's disappearance is in room 411 of the Pera Palace Hotel in Istanbul. Agatha Christie tells me that the key is hidden in a hotel room in Istanbul. That she once kept this secret very well, but now it's okay to know. The key to the box must be found. We must find it. This news had a great impact in the world press. After Rand's claim, a team was sent to Istanbul. On March 7, 1979, the Turkish press, foreign journalists and televisions gathered in room 411 of Pera Palace. A new spiritual session was held, which was broadcast live by American television channels. At exactly 5 p.m., a telephone connection was established with Los Angeles. Psychic Rand told the teams what to do in room 411 one by one, over the phone. The psychic's words were followed to the letter, and the wooden floor of the room was partially dismantled. After searching, the teams did indeed find a rusty 8-centimeter long key hidden between the wooden floor and the concrete. Representatives of the American Warner Brothers Film Company, which followed the search very closely, contacted the United States and reported that the key was found. After the key was found, things started to get more and more interesting. Hassan Souza, who was the chairman of the hotel at that time, took the key under protection and held a press conference. At the meeting, he announced that the key belonged to the hotel and that he could give the key to Warner Brothers for $2 million. This payment was to be spent on the hotel's restoration and other expenses. Hassan Souza also demanded that the film be shot at Pera Palace, that the hotel have a 15% profit share, and that the completed film be broadcast on Turkish televisions free of charge. Company officials found the offer acceptable, agreed to pay a certain amount, and informed Pera Palace of their decision in a letter. According to another claim, the company authorities did not accept the agreement, finding the desired figure too high. Meanwhile, world televisions were broadcasting special programs titled, "The Key to Agatha's Secret was found at the Pera Palace Hotel in Istanbul." Warner Brothers officials met again with the famous psychic Tamara Rand, to hold a new spiritual session in Los Angeles. The session was followed by members of the press via telephone at Pera Palace. Tamara Rand said the following during the session. "I see a notebook. It has Agatha's name on it. This is a handwritten notebook. A diary. It is from 1926. The notebook is placed in a big box. There is a key. The box is locked." Then Tamara Rand said, "I have to hold the key in my hand to locate the diary." Upon this, Warner Brothers wrote a letter to Hassan Souza, informing him that the key wasn't important on its own, and that there was also a diary in question. They asked him to send the key to their studios in USA. In this way, the famous psychic Tamara Rand would be able to get the key, and all of Agatha's secret would come to light. Hassan Souza did not approve of sending the key to America, and invited Tamara Rand with company representatives to Istanbul and offered to hold the session at Pera Palace. Warner Brothers officials accepted this offer on one condition: Hassan Souza, on behalf of Warner Brothers, Tamara Rand, and Pera Palace, was going to open a joint account of $60,000 in total in a Los Angeles bank to cover all the expenses and travel expenses to find the diary. The parties would deposit $20,000 each, and the expenses would be covered from this fund. The parties reached an agreement. Tamara Rand would come to Istanbul on August 20, 1979, holding the key. She would go into a trance and locate the diary that would reveal Agatha's secrets. Allegedly, the diary is not only solving the mystery of 11 days, but also illuminating many points that remained unsolved in many of the author's novels. Moreover, Agatha Christie mentioned the existence of a diary in her will, but did not reveal its location. Domestic and foreign press started to report the agenda of this interesting meeting months ago. Meanwhile, the New York Times, one of the newspapers with the highest circulation in the world, offered Pera Palace $75,000 for the right to publish the story of the key. When almost all the preparations were completed, all attempts stopped due to Pera Palace employees went on strike for other reasons in June 1979. Not long after, martial law was declared in Turkey on September 12, 1980, and the project was shelved due to undesirable circumstances. 6 years later, another interesting affair took place. A second key was found in room 511, near room 411. This key made things even more complicated and mysterious. Another interesting affair took place 23 years after the first key was found. Tamara Rand came to Istanbul in 2002, and visited Pera Palace. Rand stayed alone in room 411 for 15 minutes. Jivat Bayindir, the hotel's public relations manager who corresponded with Rand in 1979, said the following about this visit. "Last summer, the employees said, 'There's Tamara Rand downstairs. She has been aged a bit, but she was still very beautiful. She wanted to be alone in the room. On her way out, she said to me, I think the key might be opening the door of a mansion in Yenikoi. I think the notebook mentioned in the Willis in that mansion. However, since that day, the secret of Agatha's note and 2 keys could not be solved. The door or box containing the key, which is thought to solve this nearly a century-old mystery, is waiting to be discovered in Istanbul.